Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Big Sister series. If you're saying to yourself, wow, Marielle, you've really upgraded in tech, I say to you, this isn't plugged in anything. I told Carter how I really wanted a podcast mic, just to look a little bit more official, maybe to like futz around with something, you know, when I feel like, I don't know what to say. And he told me how much podcast mics were, and I said, forget it. Not right now. Nobody's got the money for that right now. So he said, I have a mic that I'm not using because he got a better one. He was like, there's no like cord for you to plug it into anything. And I said, I don't care, babe. I don't care. It's for aesthetic purposes. So don't be fooled. It's just to look official and cool, because you know what? We're manifesting. We're manifesting and we're being Delulu, because how do we get what we want? We be Delulu. We be Delulu, okay? That's how you get the things that you want in this life, is to honestly play pretend. And then one day, they won't be pretend anymore, okay? So right now I'm pretending like I have a very official podcast that is on all platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, and on YouTube, and it's so monetized, and I make money doing fun things to connect with my followers. Okay, that's what we're manifesting. But anyway, welcome to episode 4. How exciting, okay? Last week we were on a road trip, and today we're back having a slumby, okay? Last week was really fun. It was the first time that I was able to feel good about doing a bit of like a stream of consciousness type thing, and I had a lot of fun with it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. But yeah, today we're back at home. We're on the couch with a fake podcast mic and a dream. So go get into your jammies, grab a snack so we can snack together, and let's get into it. This week's snack of the week is these wavy Cape Cod chips, jalapeno ranch, okay? I've been on a real jalapeno kick lately. I don't know. I think it's because the older I get, the more aware I get that like I won't be able to eat spicy foods anymore without like taking Tums or like getting severe acid reflux where I think I'm having a heart attack. So I'm just enjoying it while I can. I love hot and spicy foods, and I've just been on a jalapeno kick. Also, I'm one of those bitches that'll put ranch on anything. Let me lean away from the mic. I don't want to crunch in your ear. I have severe TMJ, and things that are really crunchy and like thick and more to chew really screw with my jaw, but I don't care. If it's worth it, it's worth it. And my little drink that I have to go with it, I saw this in the grocery store on my way home today, and I've never seen this brand before. It's called Brooklyn Best. Okay, can we see? And it's called Pink Lemon. This flavor is pink lemonade. It says all over the top of the can, not too sweet. And honestly, I love a drink. I've gotten to a point where I love a drink that is like not too sweet, that has more of like a hint of something. Of course, sometimes I just want my teeth rotted out of my head by a Country Crock pink lemonade mix, you know what I mean? But sometimes I'm like, I just want like the aura of pink lemonade. And this is it. It has nothing to do with really like health or anything. Like obviously the less sugar, the better. Diabetes runs in my family. Like I'm trying to be better about my sugar intake. But this is really good. There's not that many ingredients. It almost feels like if you take like the Country Crock pink lemonade mix and you put it in a glass with ice and you leave it out like at a party for a couple of hours and come back to it, that's what it tastes like. But I like that. So let me know in the comments what you're snacking on and what you're drinking, because I never asked, but like that's the point, is I want us to share our like sleepover must-haves. What are your sleepover must-haves? If you have your pals over to have a slumby, what are you snacking on? On the agenda today, we have a couple of things, right? Last week, I put in the caption, and no one, maybe people don't read the caption, but I put in the caption asking if people wanted skincare or makeup advice, because I know a lot of times people will say like, I didn't have anyone to teach me skincare. I didn't have anyone to teach me makeup. And obviously there are a million people on the internet that will teach you skincare and makeup. But if you're watching my series and no one has taught you skincare and makeup, that's what I'm here for. That's what your big sis is here for. And I am highly proficient in both of those things. And I figured we would start out with just like the basics on each. Because it can be very overwhelming because there's so much room for improv, so much room for experimentation and different variations of makeup and skincare, and it can get overwhelming, so it'd be nice to just, you know, start off with the basics, right? So I asked if people were more interested in skincare and makeup, and no one answered here, but I asked on Instagram via poll, and it was a bit overwhelming for skincare, which I was surprised about because I feel like people love anything to do with makeup. I feel like it's a little bit more accessible just because skincare feels like it's like, oh, well, it's something I'm doing like to help my skin and I don't want to fuck up, I don't want to do anything wrong, whereas makeup is just like putting on something that you take off. But as I said, I am here to please. We're gonna start off with skincare basics with MareBear. Skincare with MareBear. Now let's start off with my journey through skincare, okay? Listen to me, I had porcelain doll fucking skin growing up. Everywhere I went, people would be like I was some sort of like sainted figure where people were just like, oh, just like wanting to reach out and touch me because my skin was so beautiful. I remember vividly sitting in the dentist chair while like a dental assistant was working on me and she was like, your skin is phenomenal. And I thought I thought I got out scot-free, right? From having to deal with acne, because when I had beautiful skin, it was my whole teenage years. Like up until about 21, 22, I barely knew what foundation was. Like I knew what it was because like I would wear it for like shows, like musicals and stuff, but like I just never wore foundation. And I thought I had beat the system, but I didn't. I had a really bad case of hormonal acne, and I say it in past tense, I don't know why, because I have hormonal acne. I have gotten a grip on it. When you have hormonal acne, it's just something you have, obviously, because your hormones are imbalanced. And I'm not going to sit here and say that my hormones are balanced, because they are not. My periods cripple me and make me want to jump off a cliff. So my hormones are not balanced, but I'm using stuff that is good for my skin, my skin type, my skin condition. I've done things to like help out with that. And I'm gonna go in, I'll probably go into detail with that like on TikTok one day, even though yet again, TikTok doesn't, you know, TikTok is like, oh, you went to school to be certified as a professional in skincare? No one cares, shut up, just show us your boyfriend and your little outfits and be on your way. No, you know, anything that I am professional and proficient at, it doesn't push. But regardless, I will talk about it because this is what I used to be dealing with. Oh, hang on, let me bring my mic with me. This is what I used to be dealing with back when my hormonal acne was so bad. And this isn't even like the worst of it. This is just like a picture I happened to take where I was like, oh, I can't take this anymore. And then, you know, like this is what my skin looks like now, like more up close. Obviously you can see, but like I have makeup on wherever, like this is what my skin be looking like normally. And I've worked really hard to get my shit together with my skin. I can go more into depth on it if there's people in the comments that are like, oh yes, I have hormonal acne, like please help out with that. But really the best thing that you can do if you have hormonal acne, I'll just say real quick, is the simpler the better. No fancy frills, no extra steps, no 12-step Korean skincare routines, whatever. The simpler the better, because your skin is already posed to freak the fuck out at any little change in your hormones. So if you're putting like all this crazy stuff on your skin, it's gonna anger it more. So I probably have like 5 steps in my skincare routine, and that's like at the top. This is a basic skincare routine in order of how you should use it, okay? Here we go. Number 1, you're gonna wanna pre-cleanse. You wanna cleanse your face 2 times, especially if you're someone that wears makeup or puts on SPF every day. Step number 1, pre-cleanse. I use Dermalogica's pre-cleanse. You can use any type of makeup remover pre-cleanser type thing. I have used, Versed has a cleansing balm. Pharmacy's cleansing balm is my fave. It smells so good and it works so good. And then they have tons of like pumps that's just like oil. If you have makeup on, that means, you know, rubbing it all over your face and taking your makeup off. I use a microfiber towel because they're reusable, they're not bad for the environment, and they're not bad for your skin. I am a hater of makeup wipes. If makeup wipes has one hater, it's me. If makeup wipes has no haters, I'm dead. Use a microfiber towel because they get your makeup off better than makeup wipes, and they're better for the environment. So I'll put the oil all over my face, and then I'll wipe it off with the microfiber towel, okay? And then wash, like splash your face to make sure you get all the pre-cleanse off. And then you're gonna go and you're gonna cleanse again with a facial cleanser. I use Dermalogica's special cleansing gel. Now you're gonna notice a trend that I fucking love Dermalogica. I think they're the best like drugstore brand you can get. And I know that's not drugstore because it is expensive. I just mean that it's not like, it's the best, for lack of a better term, like over-the-counter brand you can get, because the best skincare you could get is something that you would get like from a dermatologist or like an esthetician, like some like skincare that you can only get if you have a license. Like that's the like real scientific stuff. This is the best that you can get, like, and that you can buy yourself in a store, because it's like made by scientists, it's made in a lab. There's real science behind it, and there's like no, like honestly, people sleep on Dermalogica because there's no like frills or like pretty packaging or whatever, because they're like, we don't give a fuck. It's good stuff, it's good ingredients, it's well formulated, it's going to do what it's supposed to do for your skin. Who cares if it's in a pretty package, you know? So that's my spiel on Dermalogica. I use their special cleansing gel, right? So we do pre-cleanse, then we do a cleanser. I like foaming cleansers, and you really want to really massage it into the skin. Upward motions, circles like this, going like this all around. Like if you just like do it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then splash it off, that's really, it's not really, you're not letting the soap and the ingredients like really Pac-Man eat away at all the like dirt and grime that's left on your face. So really like give yourself like maybe 30 to 45 seconds at the least of just like massaging your skin, okay? And then you're gonna rinse that off. After that, this is where like all the like fun little like extra steps come in. Serums, toners, essences, all that stuff. But we're keeping it simple, right? That was the idea of this. So I would say if you don't really need a toner. In my opinion, you don't really need a toner. Toners were invented to help bring the pH of your skin back down, because it used to be that facial cleansers were really harsh pH. Like your skin's, oh God, uh-oh. Do not judge me if I get this wrong. I've been out of school a long time and I haven't been practicing skincare. I believe the pH of your skin is like 5, pH from 5 point something. I will correct myself in editing if I was wrong, and then give myself a little slap. But so it used to be that like the pH of the cleanser that you washed your face with was way harsher than the pH of your skin. So toners were invented to help bring the pH of your skin back down from the harsh cleanser. And now all cleansers are pretty well composed, but with pH. So you don't really need a toner. If you want one, it would go after cleansing, but in my opinion, you don't. But this is where you like put on serums and retinols and this and that and blah, blah, blah. So like this step number 3 is whatever you want it to be. You can do a hydrating serum. You could do niacinamide. You could do retinol. So what I do is I use this Cocoa Kind Ceramide Barrier Serum. I'll put a little picture up because I know I'm far away, but it's a Ceramide Barrier Serum. So what this does is it like hydrates and it hydrates and it balances the pH of your skin barrier, and it just balances the whole like biome of your skin barrier from like any sort of like, not like, you know, trauma that it might have gone through during the day. So this is what I do after cleansing. We got pre-cleanse, cleanser, and then serums, toners, essences, anything like that. So then after that, easy peasy, step number 4, moisturizer. Surprise, surprise, we got Dermalogica here, and they're gonna be their active moist moisturizer. This is a really good simple one. There's no like frills, no fanciness to it. It's good for all skin types. I do believe it's really good for balancing oil. Like, it's not for oily skin, but it's good for balancing oil. It's pretty just like baseline. Like, it's not really gonna upset anyone's skin too much. It might not be hydrating enough for some people, or might be too hydrating for people, but it's a pretty good like starter for moisturizer if you don't know where to start. And guess what? We're almost done. So that's step 4. And after that, we're gonna go in with an eye cream. I'm still not like completely convinced that eye creams aren't a scam. I understand like keeping your under eye hydrated is important, but I do think that we are sold like we are sold this idea that like there is some eye cream out there that is the holy grail, that is the magic potion to making our under eyes not look puffy, not look dark, not look wrinkled, like, and very little eye creams are gonna do that. Really, the only thing you need to do for your under eye is to keep it moisturized, and you don't need any fancy kind of like rigmarole for that. You just need to keep your under eye moisturized. I've been using the Kiehl's Creamy Eye Treatment with avocado, and I've been really liking it. It's very thick, it's very occlusive. I haven't had any issues, like it hasn't like broken me out or anything like that. It's also expensive. You can use like I also used to use this Trader Joe's hydrating eye cream, Supreme hydrating eye cream, which I don't even know how much it is at Trader Joe's. It's not a lot. Or e.l.f. has a really good one that's like I forget what it's called. I'll put a picture up here of it because I don't remember. I think there's a child screaming somewhere, like bloody murder in my apartment building, and it is horrifying. What I've been showing you so far is my nighttime routine. I only use this at nighttime. I don't use it in the daytime just because it's kind of expensive for like a drugstore product. So I really just use it at night. So this is what I showed you so far. This is my night routine. So if I was doing this night routine, I'd be done. In the winter, I do add a 5th step where I use, I don't have it on me because it's not winter yet, but a Cocoa Kind, I think it's chia seed oil, and I will put like a drop of that on, and I will like pat it into my skin because I need a little extra hydration in the winter. Or like oil's really good about, like, it can hydrate, but for the most part it just sits on your skin and keeps all the water in your skin rather than hydrate your skin. So I do use that in the winter time because I need a little bit extra. So that was my nighttime routine. If I was doing this in the morning, baby doll, it's the same thing, except you don't need to pre-cleanse in the morning, okay? So strike that. You don't need to pre-cleanse in the morning because you were just sleeping, okay? You were not doing anything. And you should be keeping your pillowcases clean, right? You should be washing them at the very least weekly. Okay, my camera overheated and I don't remember where I was when it just randomly turned off. So I believe I was talking about my nighttime versus daytime routine. And it's basically the same except that I don't pre-cleanse in the morning. I just immediately go in with my regular cleanser, and then again in the winter I might add like some sort of hydrating essence. I love this Fresh Rose Deep Hydration Facial Toner. This is a fantastic little just quick addition of some hydration, but then I'll just go right to my moisturizer after that, Active Moist. So we've got step 1, cleanse, step 2, perhaps a hydrating serum or toner, and then 3, moisturizer, and then eye cream as step number 4. I use, in the daytime, I use this Good Molecules Yerba Mate Wake Up Eye Gel. This has like a little bit of caffeine in it, and so it's hydrating, and it has like certain ingredients that wake up your under eyes. Bitch, I don't know if it actually works. Like, I haven't really seen a difference, but I also have chronically dark under eyes. It's dark under eyes are genetic. So if you are someone that has always had dark under eyes and you're like, I can never get them to stop being dark, well, it's genetic, babe. I also never get any sleep. I'm a terrible sleeper, so that's also my problem. But I use that in the hopes that maybe it is making me appear more awake, and I just don't know. And then very important, step number 5 is going to be SPF, okay? These are my holy grails. These are what I always grab for. Number 1 is going to be the Super Goop Glow Screen. This one has a bit of a tint to it. They came out with different colors recently, which is really cool. This is the one that works for me. It's called Sunrise, but it gives you a little bit of a tint and a beautiful glow. It's basically like putting on makeup when you don't feel like putting on makeup. I've tried a couple, like some brands tried to come out with stuff like this, and it just doesn't hit the same. Like, I love Kosas as a brand, but their version of this that they came out with, like, it didn't really like give me that dewy, hydrating, like sort of like evening out the skin kind of thing like this does. This is kind of like the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter in a bottle. It's my fave, SPF 40, fantastic. And then when I know I'm gonna be wearing makeup and it doesn't matter what I'm wearing on my skin underneath, like SPF wise, I love to use this Innisfree Daily UV Defense Sunscreen. This is fantastic. It has a gorgeous sunscreen smell. I know not everyone is huge on sunscreen smells, but I fucking love smelling like the beach and sunscreen. And this smells so good, and it works. This also is a bit hydrating. Sorry, just banged into my mic. Any feedback on that? So it has like a bit of a moisturizing component, and it's a little bit like it gives you like a little bit of a dewy glow at first, but it's just this brand Innisfree is a fantastic Korean brand, and I love, those are my 2 faves. But yeah, that's really it. That's really all you need to know for like basic skincare routine. Okay, moving on. That was fun. I love talking about skincare. I don't get to do it enough because, like I said, I graduated from esthetician school in 2021, and like my influencer star was on the rise, and I was gaining so many followers. I was getting so many opportunities. I was starting to get brand deals where I was like, oh, I can get paid to do this. And so I didn't get my license. I didn't work as an esthetician. It's really coming to bite me in the ass now that student loan payments are starting back up again, because it kind of feels like I am paying off all these loans, and for what? I'm not working in the industry that I took out all these loans for. But it was always intended as a backup, because I have so many passions before skincare. I don't know, it's looking like I might end up working as an esthetician sooner than I thought, because it's hard out here for us mid-level influencers. We're all struggling. If you are someone that doesn't have like close to 1 million followers or over, it's not easy out here right now. Okay, next thing I wanted to talk about is a question that I wanted to pose to all of you, to leave me your comments down in the comment section so we can have this little discussion, because I'm just so interested about people's experiences with this. I was having a chit chat with one of my best friends about childhood wounds to do with our physical appearance that we carry with us into adulthood. So I wrote it down on my notes as like, What was your villain origin story of someone saying something mean about your body or looks when you were younger that you carry with you still? So my friend was telling a story about how like she had a time in her life where she like really didn't like put any effort into her appearance. She was in a long-term relationship and she didn't feel good about herself, so she just didn't put that much effort into her appearance. And like a bartender at her job at the time caught her like looking at him or just like making eye contact with him, and he said something to the effect of like, would it kill you to do your hair? And it got me so mad. Like I got like to here, up to here when she was telling me this, and I just started like yelling into my phone on voice notes, because I was like, what gave him the right to say that? What gave him the right to say that? What makes anyone think that they can say that? You know what I mean? He sounds like one of those people, this is a bit of a tangent in a different direction. I hate people, good night to everyone except for people that that say, I'm not mean, I'm just honest. Actually, let me write that down. I have a note going in my phone of like, there's a trend going around on TikTok that's like, good night to everyone except people who, and I'm keeping a little tab of like people that drive me crazy and things that drive me crazy, and one of them is that you're not just honest, you are mean. So in the case of my friend, if she went up to that bartender and said like, hey, I don't know why she would do this, but like, hey, do you have any advice on things that I could do to like enhance my appearance that would make me look better? Again, why would she say this? But like, if she were to go up to him and say something, or even just say something like, oh, I just really hate the way I'm looking lately. Like, I just feel like I don't really look that pretty, or like anything, like if someone brings it up, then you can say something in a way that isn't mean, but is honest. And you could say something like, well, if he could have said something like, well, you know, like you have really beautiful hair. You have this gorgeous hair color and it's like nice and curly. So like, sometimes something that can help someone feel better about themselves is to just like do their hair in the morning, you know, or to like zhuzh up your hair and put it in a cute like little hairstyle. That might help. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a way to be honest without being mean. But if you say to someone, would it kill you to do your hair sometimes? How do you not think that that's mean? Right? Okay, so veering back on track to what I was going, idea I was going with was, what is your villain origin story of someone saying something mean about your looks that you've carried with you forever? So my example of that is that I've always been really self-conscious about my tetas. So I was, from a very young age, I was aware that my tetas were not developing in the same way as some of my other girlfriends, or in the way that like you would see maybe naked women in movies, or like when I was old enough to look at internet, you know, like I would see the women in those videos and go, oh, like I don't look like that. Or like, again, like even just like any movie where you see a topless woman, like I was like, oh, my boobs don't look like that. They were immediately growing down, and I had like bigger areolas than like what I would see in my friends, like in the locker room or us getting changed in a bedroom or something, you know? So I was always very self-conscious of them, to the sense of like, well, they don't look like everyone else's in my mind. Obviously not thinking that there are other people out there that have tetas like mine, or that look unlike the usual, unlike society's idea of what tetas should look like. So I was self-conscious of them, but I also like didn't really care, I guess, like, because I was still young enough to be like, well, who cares? Like, I don't look like how I think they're supposed to look, but also who cares? So then one day, I forget how old I was. I think I was a senior. Yeah, I was a senior in high school, so I was probably 17. And I was friends with a lot of boys. I was a bit of a pick-me in high school. Like, weren't we all, unfortunately. But I grew out of it. And we do grow out of it. That's another topic that maybe we'll do next week, is I'm just like other girls. Like, it's beautiful to just be like other girls and to not be a pick-me, right? So, but not getting into that right now. I was friends with a lot of boys a little bit because I was a pick-me, and I was definitely one of those people that was like, well, I just don't get along well with other girls. And I mean, that is in part to the fact that my most important girlfriend, my best friend, was, you know, abusive, as we learned last week in Marielle lore. But I just had more guy friends than anything, and they were always in the theater department. Like, I wasn't friends with guys that were not like actors, performers, whatever. And within that little guy group that I was friends with, and there were like, you know, female fringe girls like with me in that friend group. So if there was like 5 or 6 of boys, there was like always like me and like my other friend Amanda, and then maybe our friend Danielle or whatever. Regardless, one of the guys in that group, which is so funny when I think about this now, because he had a crush on me at one point. And in fact, I still have to think, I have to figure out if I dated him. Like, I feel like he was someone that I like dated, you know, that like we like were like, I like you, you like me, we're going out now, you know. And we like dated for what, like 2 weeks or something, and then that was that. But yeah, he had a crush on me. And I don't remember all the details about this, but I remember, I just remember it was that he said to a bunch of people where I could hear, he said, he yelled it, I believe. He said like, Marielle has saggy tits. Okay? He yelled that. And he said, I don't even know like where that came from. Like, he never saw me naked, like consensually. And I, you know, sending like nude pics wasn't really a thing back then. We had like grainy ass phones that could barely take a picture. I don't know where he would have even seen my boobs to like know that. Maybe in like a bathing suit or something one time, like at like a pool party or something. Maybe he saw that like my boobs weren't as perky, or my tetas were not as perky as other girls. But I remember I was horrified, because all it takes is someone externally validating your things that you're self-conscious about. So like I said before, I was self-conscious about it, but I wasn't conscious of it, if that makes sense. Like, I was self-conscious of it, but I wasn't walking around constantly being like, oh, my boob, my tetas, oh my God, they're not like any, you know, like it was very much in the back of my head of something that's like, I feel a little weird about this. But all it takes is one person pointing out something about yourself that you were self-conscious of to ruin you for life. And I giggle when I say that, but that's a really serious thing. And kids don't even recognize the magnitude of that when they're bullying each other. Kids are fucking terrible. But when they're bullying each other, they don't realize that like this is going to follow that person forever. You know, like if I went up to this kid now and I told him like, hey, do you know that like for the rest of my life, I've had in the back of my head you saying that I have saggy tetas and yelling it to everyone so that I could hear, has stayed with me forever and has made me hate my body in an almost irrevocable way. Do you know that? He would probably be mortified. You know, like he would probably be like, I don't even remember saying that. Like, I'm so sorry. That's awful. Because he wasn't a terrible person, but he definitely, you know, was a little shitty kid. And he probably would be horrified at that now, but at the time it wasn't even a second thought. And I know I'm preaching to the choir because probably most of you aren't children, but I just think it's so crazy how like someone can have such an important role in your life as someone that can like say something that sticks with you forever. I mean, like family members can do it too, you know, like your mom can do it, your dad can do it, your sister can do it, but like little shitty kids that you were friends with for a couple of years and then never saw again can literally just stay with you. I'm 30 years old. That happened when I was 17. And it's still like sometimes when I look at myself in a dress that has a lot of cleavage and stuff, I have his voice in the back of my head saying something, saying that, that awful thing. So my friend sharing that with me and me sharing that with her reminded me of this. And I was just like, I wonder what other people's like villain origin story is of like, someone said this one thing to me once and I've never forgotten it. But yeah, so let me know down below, what was your villain origin story? Let's all trauma bond together. I know that's not what trauma bond means, but like, let's all share our trauma together. Okay, second to last thing to talk about, crush of the week. I remembered. So last week we had Jake Johnson, Hosier, and Noah Khan. I think we're gonna switch out 2 of them because I have 2 on my list that I have been thinking about nonstop, but I'm gonna only switch out 2 of them. And those 2 are gonna be Hosier and Noah Khan. Still love them, but Jake Johnson is still on the noggin because I'm still watching New Girl. So, you know, if he's in my line of sight, I'm thinking about him, I'm lusting, okay? But then number 2 for this week is going to be, oh, I don't remember what his last name is now. Oh, shoot. Oh, okay. Okay. It's Skylar Gizondo, or Gizondo. I don't know how to say his last name, but he is most notably from Righteous Gemstones, which is like probably, if I had to rank, like probably number 3 favorite show of all time. Like it would go the OA, Bob's Burgers, Righteous Gemstones. It is just an amazing, perfect piece of media. He's been in a couple other things, but that's the first thing I've seen him in. So here's the thing about Skylar. When I first started watching Righteous Gemstones, I wasn't sure how old he was, so I wasn't sure if I like could think he was cute. Like objectively, I was like, well, this is a cute, like a handsome, cute person. Like he could either be like, he's one of those people that could either be like 21 or like 30, you know, so I couldn't tell how old he was. So I kept it to myself. That I thought he was cute. And then my best friend and I were rewatching Righteous Gemstones, and I looked him up on Instagram just to like, you know, stalk a celebrity on Instagram. And I noticed he had like a Instagram post about his birthday. And when I read how old he said he was turning, I was like, well, he's 27. So I turned to my roommate and I was like, do you know who I think is really cute? Do you know who I think is like my white boy of the month? And she was like, who? And I said, Gideon, Skylar. And she was like, shut up. Oh my God, he's so cute. And then she said the same thing. She was like, how old is he though? And I was like, he's 27. Okay, so that's number 2, Skylar Gizondo. Okay, and then the crush of the week number 3 is Donald Gleason. I'm gonna say, if there's one thing about me, I'm gonna say this man's name wrong every fucking time. The first time I talked about him on TikTok, I was saying Domhnall, and everyone ate my ass up. Ooh, they ate my ass up. They got me so good. I got really defensive, and I was like, okay, everyone, I fucking get it. I said his name wrong. I've never heard it out loud. I'm just reading it on a screen, and it's a silly little Irish name that doesn't sound like it's spelled. Forgive me. So I think it's Donald Gleason. Donald Gleason. Don't tell me if it's wrong because I don't want to know. I'm going to say Donald Gleason. This is him, obviously. I've always thought he was cute since Harry Potter. One of my favorite movies of all time is the movie About Time. If you've ever seen it, then we share trauma in seeing it. So yeah, so I've always thought he was cute. But what really cemented this for me and why I wrote it down just last week is the new Hosier video for DeSelby Part 2. He is in it and he looks good. He looks good. He's got a beard, he's got long hair, and he's dancing his little booty off in it. He's being such a weirdo. He's acting his little booty off. He is... he looks so good in that video, and I said out loud to my friends on the cabin trip last week, I said, like, I'm gonna add him to my crush of the week, and they all vehemently agreed, being like, he's so hot. So yeah, so those are the crushes of the week. Okay, and I also thought I would end off telling you a little bit, because I'm a secret book talk girly. I'm not really on book talk. Like, I don't post book talk things because, again, a common theme here, if I post things about books, TikTok's gonna be like, girl, you're not in the book talk community. You are not known as a book talker, so no one gives a fuck. Meanwhile, people will always be like, what are you reading? What recommendations do you have? But it doesn't matter what your followers want, right? It's what the algorithm wants. Anyway, not bitter. So I don't really talk about book talk girly things on TikTok. I talk about it in my Instagram stories sometimes, but I love to read. It's one of my, like, I consider it a hobby because I've always loved to read my whole life. Okay, so what am I reading currently? I'm reading A River of Golden Bones. A River of Golden Bones. It is by A.K. Mulford. We're mutuals on TikTok, which was so fun because people were tagging them like crazy in my Stacy's mom videos on TikTok. And like she has this thing where she like thirst duets really hot girls on the internet, and I respect that and I love it. And I love that, like, she didn't like duet my video, but she immediately followed me, and I was like, oh, because I was reading, where is it? It's too far for me to reach, and I don't feel like reaching it. But I was reading her other series, which is like the High Mountain Court series, and I love them. In fact, I talked about them on my vlogs here on YouTube, when I was doing weekly vlogs, and I recognized the name, and I was like, when people were commenting, when people were tagging her in that video, and she was like commenting back with like these kinds of eyes and like emojis, I was like, I would like answer back and be like, oh my god, I love your books, I think they're so great, I can't wait for the next one to come out in the series. And so now we're mutuals, and her like people reached out to me and asked if I wanted to read an unreleased book of hers. So this says here, uncorrected proof, not for sale. And I'm like, I feel so special and so excited because this is like technically like my first like book PR. When her people reached out to me, were like, do you want to read like basically like a beta book? I was like, yes. So this is not for sale yet, but it is, as you could tell from the coloring, it is a bisexual fantasy novel that has to do with werewolves. Hell yeah. And like two twin princesses, and like one is like the spare and the other one like has to get married for like political reasons. And I believe like the one that has to get married for political reasons is getting married to like the man that the other one loves, and it's like a whole love triangle type thing, and it's a part of a series. I have only read the first chapter so far, so I can't really give much of a review thus far. But so far I like it because I like her books. They aren't doing anything crazy different than any other fantasy book is. Like I said that in my reviews of her books in my weekly vlogs from the beginning of the year. Like there's nothing that these books are doing that are like different from Sarah J. Maas's book or anything like that. But honestly, like, isn't that like what we come to fantasy for? You know, it's just like, I want high fantasy, I want monsters, I want love triangles, I want all the like tropes that I love and that I look for in romantic fantasies. But so far I'm tuned in, love, okay? And I'll update you as I read it on how I'm feeling about it. If you want, like, oh, I was like, is someone screaming? Nope, sirens outside. If you want, like, I was thinking of doing a video about like books that I've read this year so far, or like my favorite books I've read this year, whatever. But I just like, again, because I don't talk about books almost at all, I felt a little self-conscious about like, do people give a shit, you know? So let me know if you'd be interested in that, because I would love to talk about it, okay? Okay, so that's gonna be it for episode 4. Thanks for tuning in and watching again. Check the caption for any questions I might have for future episodes, because I love polling y'all in the captions. Look for all my links for all of my social medias. I'll add my Goodreads, so you can follow along. We could be book buds. Otherwise, thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being you. Thanks for being the best. Thank you. I love you so much. Bye.